So let
Like how
me,
many minutes do I have for my own?
how many minutes can you go? You can't give you more than 30 minutes.
Sorry?
Between 20, 30 minutes, it should be okay.
Okay, it will be
Mm,
fine then. All
okay,
right.
so, so
I
let
I I
me,
need to be sure.
okay, let me do my intro. Oh, you can all see the screen. I think
Yes.
I'm sharing a file now. You can see the
Eh,
picture on your end,
yeah,
right?
I can see the topic here.
Okay. We are okay. My name is Prayer Frederick, and I'm the convener of this webinar. I'm also the CEO of City Reports Media. The initiative for us to have this conversation is born with the fact that every election season, the media play a very critical role to see that we have free, fair, and credible elections. And over the years, you see the stifling of the media and bullying of journalists. Recently, you can attest to the comments made by the Minister of FCT, where he threatened that if he had a gun and he was physical with a journalist, he would have shot him. And when the media, as in people began to complain, he said it was just a statement. But these are statements that actually send threats to professionals and will make some journalists not want to do their job as it should be. So, like I said, my name is Gray Frederick, and I want to officially welcome you to the one-day masterclass webinar, The Agenda Setters, the role of the media in the 2027 elections, phase one. This is the first phase we're going to have. We intend to have three phases of this program before the elections. The next one will be sometime around August. We'll come up with other topics and other guest speakers. Then maybe the last one will come up during December or before the election in January. One will look on other topics. So for the meantime, let me introduce our guest. He will be speaking on the topic, the people, the politicians, and the media. Who should drive the agenda? Our speaker is Comrade Umar Abdullahi Angebi. He's a media expert, politician, and a public affairs analyst from Nasarawa State. Mr. Umar Angebi is an educationist. He was once the chairman of Labour, he was once the chairman of all political parties in Nasarawa State, IPAC. I hope I got that correctly. He was
Yes, you're
also the
correct.
candidate for the Labour Party in the 2019 general election, if I'm not mistaken, not 2023, 2019. He
You're right,
was the
29.
governorship candidate for Labour Party and currently is the CEO of Smooth Television. Sir, we are glad to have you. Let me not forget, he's an educationist, like I said, a former lecturer of NT Television College, all the way in Jos Plateau State. If you're not too busy, I want you from your end to join me to welcome Comrade Umar Angebi Abdullahi for joining us, and he's our first speaker. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Pray.
Okay,
Um,
you have the floor now. You can just
okay,
talk to
thank you
us.
so much. Thank you so much. First of all, I feel greatly honored to be chosen among a large society of people, some who are far more knowledgeable to speak on this forum. Um, to the other participants, I greet you all. Without wasting much time, looking at the topic, the people, the politicians, and the media, who should drive the agenda? Um, it is important for clarity to look at those variables before we can even begin to identify who should do what. And I intend to start by looking at the people in this case. Who are the people, especially from the backdrop of the topic that we are discussing? It would mean that for us in this geographical location called Nigeria, citizens people of diverse cultures, religion, and ethnic backgrounds. You have the males and the females, you have the young and the adult, you have the educated in terms of the educational class, you have the rich and the poor, you have those who live in the city, you have those who live in remote areas. And mind you, when we say people here, we are not only referring to citizens. There are people who have decided to be in Nigeria, either for businesses or for the fact that they prefer the country and all that. And then there are citizens and so many other issues. But it's important to understand that the people here are human beings living within this area, those with different backgrounds, different social, cultural backgrounds. So, but in order to push it further, the people are those who are governed by those in power. And the responsibility of governance rests not just with those who hold political positions, but they too have a stake in it, because governance is about providing all the necessary needs of people, the necessary needs of people from every angle that you can think of, whether it is educational, whether it is health, whether it is leisure, so many other things. So the people are there as the responsibilities of those in public offices. I hope that explanation for the people suffices, but we shall be dwelling more on that when we continue with the discussions. And then the second issue here, the politicians. Who are the politicians? And you cannot understand who a politician is without mentioning democracy, because that is specific. We have different types of leadership in the world, whether it is monarchy, oligarchy, whatever type, even if it is military rule, but we're discussing democratic governance. And it is through democracy that you have politics. And those actors are the ones that are referred to as politicians. So politicians are those who are actively involved in political activities for the purpose of providing or participating in governance, or bringing those who would be on the seat of governance using the channels of political parties. So the constitution of the country requires that for you to hold public office, especially, you have to go through a channel, through the political party channel. You have to choose a political party. You have to be elected. And that is where we'll make another reference to the people, elected by the people. For you, they provide you, they give you the mandate to serve them. And you can, those people who come through these political parties or channels, and they are given the mandate to serve the people, are those that we are referring to as politicians here. But politicians may not necessarily be only those who are elected. We should understand that the entire gamut requires those who manage the political parties too. If that explanation suffices, I would like to go on to the next point here, which is the media. Because the topic here says the people, the politicians, and the media who should drive the agenda. So the media, looking at it, media of mass communication, that's what we're talking about. And over time, this media has evolved. And to explain it in very simple sense is um, it is the channel through which communication is done between the source and the receiver. The media stands there to project ideas, information, messages from the source to the receiver. So it can be anybody who has any important message to transmit. And the information must be relevant, and it should be able to also provide feedback to the person or to the source who provides such information for communication to happen. So media, in simple terms, refer to either the channels that we use either by print or by electronics. And when we talk about the print, we're talking about the newspapers, the magazines, and letterheads, and all those things that you need pen and paper to put together to put the message there. But over time, print also has evolved to the extent that if you are just looking at it, limiting it to just the newspaper stands and all that, you have limited the concept. Print here goes as far as even those billboards you see on the streets. When people post the posters, handbills, all those things, what we are talking about as the media of print now. And we need to get that right. And print has also delved into the electronics, but we shall look at that first. Let us not just jumble things up. Then the electronic medium has to do with the television and the radio, which is the conventional type that we used to know, or the traditional media, which the print also belongs there. But advancement in technology has also introduced the new media, whereby the Android or mobile devices have now created another channel through which information is applied to a mass or a broad spectrum of the audience. So uh, speaking about the topic, the people, you and I, people of the society, young and old, educated or not, living in the city or the remote area, that the responsibility of governance is about providing services to them. And then those who sit in public offices, elected or given the mandate by the people, are the politicians. And then the media is the channel of communication, radio, television, print, newspapers, and all that. Well, let's not forget an important actor there. Those who operate the media that we refer to as journalists or media practitioners, they are there also within the realm of the media. So it is not just the machines operating themselves. There are people behind the actions, packaging of these messages, and that is the journalist. And once we look at the topics in this regard, then the issue of agenda is also important, which is a factor that we would say is related to the media and media practitioners. What is agenda? Agenda is the everyday social issues, talking points, events, and happenings that have direct impact on the society, which the society should know. Either they know or they don't know, but it is there that affects their lives. So you cannot wake up in the morning and not know what to do. You have to plan a program. And so all these guidelines or all the things that you are there for you to say, this is what I want to do, or this is what I know about myself or the society can be termed as agenda. But as far as the media is concerned, agenda setting is one critical role that they play. For instance, the press, the newspapers, the journalists, they do that virtually every day. Agenda setting is from all the happenings in the society. When you look at what the press or the newspaper, you go to the newspaper stand, or you switch on your television, or you go on the social media, and those things that happen that take the attention of the society, carefully presented by different media channels, are the agenda. Whether they are relevant, whether it is what the society actually needs, or it is something that is carefully crafted so that the society should go along with it, about agenda. So largely, you find media organizations, the press or journalists, set an agenda for the society, whether they are political agenda, whether there are issues of governance, whether there are other social issues, whether there are health issues, or that. And depending on how much of relevance that the media put or project on an issue, they help to raise the agenda. Whether it is necessarily what the society wants or not, that is the issue. But in order not to stray too much away from the topic, in simple terms, the people, the politicians, and the media are also affected by the agenda. For the people, the agenda would naturally be things that would drive or solve their day-to-day problems. That is what they would want every day to see, drawing the attention of the politician. And then from the side of the media normally goes to project what it thinks is the agenda in the interest of the people, but also to draw the attention of the politicians to them. You will know that in the structure, the media or journalists normally refer to them as the fourth estate of the realm. So you have the judiciary, you have the legislature, you have the executive, and they position themselves as the fourth estate. So for who to drive this agenda? When I was confronted with this question, I think that my most immediate response would be handing the responsibility of who drives the agenda to one institution alone would be dangerous. I don't think it is entirely the responsibility of the media to drive the agenda. No, you should leave it in the hands of the politician to be solely responsible for determining the agenda, or that of the people. So I think it's a shared responsibility. And why do I say so? Let's take it from the angle of the media that we normally assume that they are the ones who are responsible for certain agenda. Whether they are for the right reasons or not, we have seen over time that our press or journalism, particularly in our country, have been so engaged with conference room reporting, what we call armchair reporting, or in simple terms, always bombarding us with what government is doing, what the governor was here today, the governor is traveling tomorrow, the president is here, all that. And it has been argued that if the press or journalists devote majority of their time only like in a one-way traffic reporting issues only within the government cycle and ignoring what the society feels, or engaging with them to also hear from their side what the issues are or what the agenda should be, then there's a problem. So there has been that issue all along, that most of the times what the press reports does not or may not necessarily be what the public or the people needs are. So the press needs to engage, needs to do what some media refer to as human angles a lot of the time. Let them gauge what the society, what the people really need, so that they project it to the government or the politician. And then coming to the side of the politician, it would assume that the politician feels he is the one who drives the policies and the programs, and he's within the environment whereby he understands the situation better than the people. So, as such, he should be, or the politician should be the one that tells the public or the people what is right or what the agenda is. But in actual sense, if we hand that entire responsibility to a politician, the tendency for politician to always look at it first from his own point of view, and second, for political interest of remaining there in power, would naturally affect popular interest, because positioning himself as a politician always to look good to the society, whether the society are feeling the impact of governance or not, is a major issue when you hand the agenda setting role entirely in the hands of the politician. We have seen cases in the past, even currently, and even in your opening statements, where you have drawn the point that the journalists have been in the line of fire for trying to play their role as the watchdog of the society. So it will tell you that over time, the politician trying to protect his political interest may sometimes be at loggerheads with the media that is trying to do the right thing by beaming the light of good governance to the public. So now, where does the public stand here? Does the public, or should the public, drive the agenda in this case if we are not comfortable with leaving it entirely in the hands of the politician, nor the hands of the media? And I think the populace or the people have a responsibility too to join in the agenda setting, because governance is largely about them. And they need to, in setting up the agenda, to give the true expressions of their feelings and what they feel should be done by the politician in order to better or improve their livelihoods, which is primarily the responsibility or the reason why one should be in governance in the first place. Do I continue? Do I continue?
Yeah, go on, sir.
All right. So now we go further in looking at the media, since we say the media is the agenda setter. And why is the media so relevant? And why is it so influential that it is able to set agenda? In the past, in the beginning of the evolution of the media, there's this belief that the media is so powerful, so strong that when it sets agenda, or in this principle of the bullet theory, or the hypodermic syringe theory of mass communication, that whatever the media presents as message or information, the society automatically takes it to be the absolute truth or that. But over time, the society has also evolved to the extent that there's this concept of selection, that people just don't watch the media and assume that everything that the media gives is the truth and the entire truth about the matter. But like I said, the evolution too has also positioned the politicians that today you have the traditional media, we have the new media, and then you have professional journalists or media practitioners, and then you have citizen journalism that the mobile devices today has given them the powers to power their cameras, their Android phones, and begin to generate messages of public importance and as well as political significance. So, be that as it may, you also find the intrusion of the public as well as the politician playing the role of the media. Just as you have quacks, just as you have other people engaging in the role playing or the agenda setting that the media is doing. So it creates a scenario here in terms of agenda setting. Now is not an exclusive preserve of the media or the professional media practitioners. As such, you find in the three variables, you find from the people, they have also positioned themselves in setting their own agenda, whether for the right or wrong reasons. As citizens, in the concept of citizen journalism, you also have from politicians that they have also recruited those with either the backgrounds in media, especially those young people, to handle a lot of these social media aspects of their activities, that they too have become relevant in setting agenda from the side of the politician. So we need to understand these concepts very well to see that it has, for some time, not entirely been the responsibility of the media or the professional journalist, nor does it come only from the print or from the electronics, but you find the incursion in agenda setting by politicians and those and the people too. And that is what really makes this topic very, very thought-provoking and relevant, in the sense that we may tend to be living in that old, with the old thoughts that traditionally the media sets the agenda. It doesn't happen anymore. We have seen a lot of agenda setters now in the public space coming from either the media or from the politicians or the people or the citizens. So I think the role should be balanced in the sense that the people need to actually express their true desires of what politicians should do to them, and should find it important to reach out to the media too in doing so. And the press or the media needs to gauge the atmosphere to always report the true situation of what the governance is about, whether what the public officer is saying. I may need to be more practical here. Um, if, for instance, take the issues of budgeting from one budget cycle to the other. If so amount was budgeted last year to this year, how much of tracking has the press done? How much do the citizens or the people know about what was budgeted for? Is the politician abiding by the budgetary rules and provisions? Have they actually provided those things they say they would provide? But those examples I've set about each one setting its own agenda, you would realize that if the media, when I say the media now, the traditional structure that is there, if they don't track this budget issue and they leave it entirely to the hands of the politician using those who handle their media space to say, the governor or the president or the local government chairman has done this, has done that, and you know how effective they are because of they have these tools at their disposal, and they are also funded to do what they are doing in order to project the image that the politician requires. So you see, the media has an important role to check those activities or check the politicians in that regard, because the uh, the, uh, the population there, or the people, may not entirely know exactly what is going on. But on their own part, as a people, the budget in its first place should have come up because they have expressed their desires for what should be done to the politician. The politician should know, no, the people need bridges here, they need schools there, they need issues to deal with security there. And the politician cannot just sit in his office and assume that the people would like this, would like that, will not like this, which is, in effect, drawing the agenda from his own side as a politician. So you see, as far as I'm concerned, setting the agenda is a role that shouldn't be left entirely in the hands of any of the three, but it should be a shared responsibility. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, sir. That's a very insightful lecture coming from an educationist, always an educationist. And coming with the background that you have the media knowledge, you have the political experience, and of course, you are part of the people. So there's no one that will be in a better position to do justice to this than yourself. Thank you very much for this presentation. So at this point, I'll open the floor for those that would like to ask one or two questions. And so far, I think we have like three major people from maybe the media aspects, because others may be from other fields. We're expecting more than this attendance. I don't know where the challenge is coming from. If it's network or they didn't get the link we sent, because we sent link to everybody. So I don't know how come majority of our guests, those that are registered, are not part of this meeting. So please, if you have any question, you can ask from what you've heard so far, the role of the media, and who should take responsibility. If you agree with, should I say Prof? Comrade, comrade. So you can unmute yourself. If you want to ask a question, please, you can ask a question. Mr. Tefa, you have a question or contribution? Is a webinar, is a master class. So he has given his lecture. We can contribute.
Yes, all right. Thank you very much. My name is Stefan Naswem. I thank Oga very much, Mr. Angibe, for the insightful um, speech on the topic. I agree with what he said explicitly about the shared responsibility for the agenda setting, because the media is not left alone to play the role of setting agenda. And looking at the coming elections, it means that everybody has a role to play in carrying out the information and activities that would enhance a kind of effective elections. The media synthesizes people on certain issues that they may not have the in-depth knowledge, because the media practitioners are people who are well trained to gather information, confirm information, verify information before disseminating such to the people. And then the people also pass through the media to express their grievances, opinions to the government. So the media, the people, and the government all need to work together in order to achieve um, the agenda setting and enhance development, improvement in elections and other aspects of our existence. So I agree with what he has said, and I believe that if there is a collective effort, a contribution, our system will be more accommodating, and there will be significant improvement. So what he has said has gone a long way to making a significant impact. So I agree with what he has said entirely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tefa, joining us all the way from Benue State. Mr. Tefa is also a media expert and the CEO of this in NASWM Communication. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, I have Mr. Amza Ali Usman. Mr. Amza, do you have any contribution or question to make? Hello, Mr. Hamza. If you can hear me, you can unmute yourself. I don't know if Mr. Hamza is with us. Okay, I have Mr. Umar Abdullahi is also a guest. Is a namesake to our guest. So,
Okay.
Umar, you can speak if you are willing. Let's hear you. If you have any question or contribution.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Good afternoon once again.
Thank
Very
you.
thanks.
Good afternoon.
Although I don't have any question, my own contribution is just to the effort of that's my namesake Umar here for taking his time on this wonderful section, and then we really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Namesake. Okay, who else want to speak? Thank God.
I have a question though.
Thank God, did you
Okay.
join with two phones?
No, my network was having issues, so it was disconnecting and I was trying to like come back.
Okay, I'm saying to your name coming twice. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, good day, sir. My name is Alozie Tengod Chinemelum, and I'm a student of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. And my question goes like this: in our country today, Nigeria, in reality, when media organizations depend on political and corporate interests, like all these politicians and the rest, for survival? Can they truly serve the people's agenda, or are we just simply choosing between two different forms? And what role do they have to play to augment this kind of lack?
Okay.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can I go ahead with the answer?
Go ahead, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Yes, thank God. That's a very interesting point that you've raised, which has to do with media ownership. I think until around between 1990 and 1993, the media space, particularly broadcast media organizations, the broadcast media has been largely the exclusive preserve of the government in that military era. And it was gradually that private practitioners came into the fold. But media ownership is a very thorny issue that to deal with. Once, like there's this saying that he who pays the piper dictates the tune. If you leave the media entirely in the hands of government, their media outfits go as far as even sanctioning the opposition in participating in their activities. It is always what the government says, what the governor, what the president, what the chairman does that they are projected. And most of the times, it has created a scenario too in the people based on this topic we are discussing. This concept of selective exposure principles of the communication. People desire or people go access a government medium, whether for the reasons that, oh, it is our government, it is our party. And so most of the times, those who are favorably disposed to the government or within the government cycle, they are the people, normally tune in there. And whatever the government says, or the media says, they tend to believe it. Yes, it's true, the government says that. But in the same fold, those living within that same society that may not share that same political views or they belong to the opposition, whatever that medium, government-owned medium brings out, whether right or wrong, they tend to see it, they reject it. They don't believe it. They feel it's government propaganda. No, it's the mouthpiece of government. And then, so you would think that the private sector media that may not necessarily be politically inclined to anybody would come in to solve the problem. But number one, most of these private media establishments have, they are a business concern with a need to make money too. And so sometimes they may parry towards whoever gives the largest, whoever pays, that is what they project. And will that be the right agenda? What about the poor, of the poor in the public that need their agenda to be also projected to government? So the private sector media tends to only set agenda or project an agenda if it is paid. But from the other side, the influence of government too, if the private sector or those who are not pro-government decides, okay, let us bring out the government, let us expose the bad things about the bad governance and all that, then they get sanctioned. You know, very recently, the NBC, which is the board, the National Broadcasting Commission of Nigeria, was saying something about even how programs should be presented by anchors. So these are the kind of the challenges that we face. The government media tends to project only what the government sees or what government is doing, to the detriment of the other society that may not feel that is right, The private sector one is also there not just as a social responsibility organization. They are also trying to balance to make money, or they are there for a particular agenda. So they may not entirely be there for the public or the people. So these are some of the challenges in terms of media ownership that we have. And it's a very interesting question you've raised, actually. Thank you.
So thank God, was your question answered? Hello, thank God, was your question answered?
I would also like to add,
Okay.
what role do we, the people, have to, like, what solution
Please
can you
repeat
proffer
that.
for
I don't know.
citizens
Sorry,
to the gap?
I don't know if it's from my end. I didn't get that. Maybe your network was breaking.
Well, I think I heard what he has said.
Okay,
He's
go
looking
on.
for the solution from the side of the citizens.
Okay.
Do in this regard. Well, I think the citizens are already doing it, but unfortunately, like I was mentioning, that today young people who have access to Android phones have become willing tools to politicians, that they project their benefactors, whether for the right or the wrong reasons, to the detriment of even the public or the people. So that is the challenge. The thing is that agenda setting, like I have said in my presentation, it's not entirely in the hands of the media or media practitioners or the politicians. And the public, people too at home, like we are, can just power their Android phones and begin to communicate their agenda. But the fault in the public space or the people too, the tendency to take sides or to exaggerate or to misinform. Largely, misinformation may be the fault there. But disinformation would be either from those handling government affairs or those who are paid sometimes to do that. For clarity's sake, when you are putting an information out, which is not the right information, that is what we call misinformation. It is not true. It is not right. But if you are doing this innocently, that is. But disinformation is when somebody decides to put false information or communicate something that is not true deliberately to achieve certain targets. That is where the issue is. So it's not as if the citizens are not there, but the limitations of the citizens are that sometimes they help to project disinformation or misinformation because of their limited background to the true situation. For instance, if someone from the office of a politician decides to go and capture fake pictures in the society and claim that from the budgetary provision of this year, this is what the governor has done, and begins to share it, and then somebody sees it and begins to share, the source that created that first information is disinforming. While the other one that innocently thinks that, yes, it is our budget that the governor did and all that, and is misinforming. So you see, there's a challenge there too, and the limitation to what the society or the people can do. It is still necessary for the professional media to come in and to collaborate with the public to always call out those fake or false or misinformed scenarios that may come out from there. And those from the side of the politicians should try as much as possible to provide the true scenario of things. But the younger generations who are either for employment purposes or for relevance sake that are doing these things, they should also realize that the issue of governance is a very serious affair that affects the people. and it has the capacity or the potential to change your situation if you are doing the right thing in projecting the right agenda.
Thank you very much, sir. Any other person with question before I start asking some questions too? It seems our second guest is having it difficult to join us because it seems his line is not even available. I don't know if the weather in Jos is terrible as we have here. So, any other question or contribution? Because we're supposed to have two topics, but since he's not online, we can just as well look into his own. Our guest is capable for both. I'm sure you can take both. Okay, so while we wait for anyone that is ready to talk, let me ask a simple question, sir. So we talk about the people, the politicians, and the media who should drive the narrative, who should set the agenda. And from your lecture, you said nobody should be given the responsibility to
The entire responsibility,
the entire
yes.
responsibility. But the media is the fourth realm of the estate, like they said. The media must play a very critical role in every election for it to be free and fair. Now, looking at 2027, whether we like it or not, the elections are already here. And in, from today, actually, the parties were supposed to start their primaries and congresses like that. But a lot of them have shifted it to May and the rest of them. So what can the media do to hold these parties accountable? Because it seems they try to drag the process towards the ending of the line. So by the time they do whatever they want to do, nobody will be able to question them and say, hey, you are not doing this, you're not doing this, you are breaching the law. And we saw the early campaigns from the ruling party actually. So what can the media actually do? You made a statement that he who pays the Wi-Fi dictate the tones. And
Yes.
majority of the media houses we have today are owned by politicians. So how do we set the agenda as the media? How can the media set its own agenda since the responsibility cannot be for only one body? But how can the media help in the 2027 election?
Well, you see, we just give a surface explanation or definition what the media is, given the topic at hand. But if we are to go broader, would see that you should also consider other actors in the media space. The media is not entirely those who operate as media organizations within Nigeria with citizenship rights. You have international media space that sort of create the balance, whether for the right or wrong reasons, or for their own interest. But when you have different sources in terms of the media organizations given this, and then the citizen journalism, all that, you can easily pick out those who are exaggerating the agenda, those who are totally off the agenda, and so on and so forth. But given what you've asked, like the primaries I are talking about, it is not the decision of the political parties to decide what day or date they will do it. They would shift the goalpost within a time frame that has already been captured in the Electoral Act for 2026 and the guidelines provided by the electoral umpire, INEC, which says that if you are doing your primaries, you are given between April 23rd and the 30th of May to do that. So there's nothing wrong in the political parties deciding to do their primaries on the very first day, 23rd of April, which has passed last Thursday, or to shift it to next week, or to shift, but they cannot shift it beyond 30th of May. That is that. But where does the media comes in here? Is to educate the people at any particular time that your political party or this political party or that is coming for primaries, this and this and this are the things that you are supposed to be doing as citizens. The security should know, the people should know, and it's a party affairs. It's a primaries, for instance. If it is for the ruling party, you have to be a card-carrying member within a particular space to go and pick from the number of aspirants who should be the candidate. It's not an open thing. So the media is there to give updates, frequent updates, engaging the people, letting them know the activity, because I can dare to say that if you go to the street and you ask a number of the people, the citizens, what is currently going on, some of them don't even know what is happening in terms of the political space. They don't know that it's the period for primaries and all that. So if you leave that agenda entirely in the hands of the politicians, they may look at the scenario and say, if we broadcast this information largely to the public, it may not suit the purpose of those of us who are in power. So they can limit the information based on what they want, right? So the citizens have a responsibility to know at each point of the time what is going on in the political space, what the politicians are planning, what they are doing, and the media needs to engage by telling the people what is happening. And if they have the information wrongly, they should clear it. And then where the politician is economical with the information, the press or the media needs to squeeze it out of him. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Any contribution or questions, then we move to the next topic. We're not going to spend up to an hour because our guests, I'm sure, may not join us. So in the next 30 minutes, we'll be rounding up the conversation. But since we already put that in the topic, we will not discuss it, but we'll ask questions. And like I said, my guest is capable to answer any question we can throw at him. So, do we have any contribution or question before we go to the next conversation? Anybody? Okay, it seems nobody is ready to answer any question. So let's look at the second topic. Although we're supposed to have Polycarp Auta is a journalist and is the correspondent for journalists in Plateau State. And let me read his profile, but we'll just look at his topic. Polycarp Auta is a chief correspondent editor with the News Agency of Nigeria, NAN. He is also the chairman correspondence chapel in Plateau State. Yeah, he's correspondent in Plateau State. I'm trying to do something. Then he has put in over decades in media practice, particularly reporting, editing, and analyzing public issues, both local and international. He is a public speaker. He holds a BSc in political science, BSc in public policy and administration, ND and HND in mass communication, respectively. He loves meeting people, driving, and listening to gospel music. But unfortunately, we were not able to have him because before we came up, I spoke with him and he said he was looking for a way that he's on transit, that he was looking for a way when he gets, then he will join us. But it's more than an hour and he has not been able to join us. From my end here, his line is not going, the messages are not going through, which means he's out of network, probably. So, okay, I don't know. Let's see. So let's just look at this topic. He was supposed to speak on factual and fearless journalism. This is one point in journalism that a lot of journalists find it very difficult to adhere to or stick to. Your story may be factual, but do you have the courage to report it? Or because you have the courage to report your factual report. There was a topic we were supposed to have too, but one of the guests could not confirm that she was going to speak because of she lost her mom. And she was supposed to speak on responsible broadcasting, but we're going to look at that in our next edition. So on this fearless reporting, let's look at, I have all my facts, but how can I report this fact in such a way that I don't truncate democracy? Like they will always say, our democracy is still growing. So what responsibility do I have in holding government or the politicians accountable to make sure that these facts we have, Mr. President, Mr. Contender, you don't have the capacity to be here. I have a lot of facts to show that you don't have the capacity, but how do I go about this so I don't create problem in the system?
All right. Thank you for giving me that opportunity to speak on this topic. Journalism or a journalist has been trained to abide by or uphold the true ethics of the job. It has a social, a corporate responsibility, and in the interest of the public. So, like towards the end of what you are saying, you made an example. You gave an example, which is quite relevant. When you consider a story factual, and you as a journalist, you are known to be fearless, that fact about the story that you are going to be releasing, how does it affect the society? And now, interestingly, let's use the scenario in Plateau, for instance, with regards to the issue of security, and then the role that the journalists should play. Now, you as a reporter, you happen to be at a location, and there's skirmishes between two individuals, and by appearance, you assume one is a Christian and one is a Muslim, and one strikes the other dead. You have witnessed it as a journalist, and there are facts. You have them both in camera, still and video. So, should you project that information, that happening? That is a question that we should ask ourselves. There are a number of fronts that a journalist can act. One, sensationalism. I was the first to witness this. So I want to be, or my media organization wants to be the first to bring this to public knowledge. Yes, you could do that. And secondly, okay, to call out bad governance. Government is not responsible for security in our society. Yes, you could do that. You have not broken the law. But what are the consequences or the implication of what you are going to be releasing to the public? What repercussions or a fallback, I mean, how would the society react to that piece of information is what should be how we should understand the delicateness of trying to play the right journalist and the fearless journalist. So the responsibility or ethical responsibility there is you should ask yourself how much of this would help the society if you release it, or if you decide to hide it, because we're looking at it from the face of security now. What if you have access to a document that someone you know closely in government has embezzled so large amount of money? There will be a public outcry if you release it. And so what do you do with it? Because it's your friend, you're not going to release that. Or because it's your relative or a blood brother, where is the question of your role as a journalist? Because here we're talking about factual and fearless, but what about the honesty? So in the media or in news reporting particularly, the concept of gatekeeping is there. Editorial judgment by usually requiring a more experienced person who understands the political atmosphere, the social scenario, and all that, to be given the responsibility that every news that comes to his desk, he sits or she sits and weigh the importance and relevance of such news item before they are released to the public. It is not just about making name or improving the status of your media organization or about you being fearless. But it's about the entire stability and unity of the country. Because in politics today, the political space is driven not by those traditional ideologies of whether one is tilted to the far right, the center left, center right, or the far left. But our emotions are swayed largely on the principles of this guy is my religion, this guy is from my region, this guy is from my ethnic place or that, and that affects, or that is where how it affects how our journalism operates here, because there are certain news items that you would bring to the public on a national scale that can set a region against the other. For instance, a journalist or a reporter who discovers, okay, a truck carrying herdsmen and their cattle towards to the east, somewhere around 9th mile. It swerves and enters the bush, and there's an accident. And just for sensationalism or for deliberate issue to create tension, you go there and you take the picture and see this was caused by someone from the east destroying the goods and lives of the people from the north. So how ethical is that? Then suppose that it was actually a sabotage done by somebody from there. What moral right or authority do you feel that it should be reported and reported in that pure, unadulterated form? So where will you place a journalist? As he who upholds righteousness and for the peace and progress of the society, or he is the instigator who comes in, well, to bring the facts to the society, irrespective of what consequences it draws. So these are the issues. I believe that editorial judgment and those who are experienced in that realm And mind you, all these bodies, the professional bodies, they are regulated and guided. And within a country and a constitution that operates, um, we are guided by our actions and in the course of our duties to always uphold and protect the unity of the country. So it is right that if a journalist discovers that it's irrelevant information, but it is that which they will draw the relevant authorities to take actions. And then when news are filtering from the wrong sources or from those who would rather see the country burn, then they can come and play the balancing effect in order to balance the story. But where the journalist is totally absent in the scene of the action and we leave it entirely in the hands of quacks to do, then that's where the disaster comes. Thank you.
That's very interesting. Thank you, sir. When we leave it in the hands of quack, and that's where the disaster comes. Talking about that, and we are in your first presentation, you talked about not just local media, you talk about internationally. Then
Yes.
you talk about everybody today is almost like a media person. When you go for an event today, you as a professional, you are struggling to have space to even record what is happening because everybody is with their phone, everybody is recording. So at this point, you don't even know who is a gatekeeper anymore because everybody wants to break the news, everybody wants to be the first to trend that I'm the one that posted this thing first, I'm the one that caught all the videos. So how do we go about this as journalists so we don't set this country on fire? Though we are bold, though you have said it, but just looking at now, everybody is a communicator. Should there be more rules to safeguard the space, the media space? Well, we already have them enough, the laws.
Well, you see, let me say something about being fearless too. In the course of being fearless, you have seen journalists particularly have put themselves in grave danger. The fearlessness should be with some amount of reasoning and caution too. Because if you put yourself at risk and eventually you are affected, either you suffer physical injury or you lose your lives, you will easily be replaced and forgotten. So there should be some measure of caution and that you have to put there in order to safeguard your life as a journalist. Talking about that, allow me to digress a bit. You see the kind of crisis, like last year, the last 2 years and this, journalists, both local, especially at the international realm, a number of them have lost their lives in the course of duty because of the rising war situation that we're seeing, that the journalist is not protected at all. Even with those, what do I say, those provisions for the charter that protects them, all those standards that are made there to identify them, to protect them, they are being ignored in the battlefield. And because the media organizations that put them there would always want to beat their chest and say, we are bringing this information to you, irrespective of the danger there. It is also something that we need to ask the question, whether such situations that the warlords and those fighting this don't recognize the relevance or the importance of the press, or they tend to think that the press belongs to one side, that we should actually send the journalists to such field. It's a big question that we need to ask and provide answers to. But coming to the question that you're asking, with the proliferation now, everybody has become a journalist overnight. without you knowing, or almost overshadowing the trained ones. What happens? Well, you cannot change that. It's a sign that the time has come. And unfortunately, we will need to also modify our professional conduct to a way what the organization needs to be doing, which they are not doing, unfortunately, is I kept asking myself this question. As a media practitioner, somebody who is trained to manage communication, people and especially politicians don't give you any regards because they feel what you are doing. Some of their boys can do that. They can just point a camera and record anything, and that is where you see the kind of junk that we have in the media space, and that is why you see the heightening of tension in the society, because things are no longer being done professionally, and people tend to underestimate the power of communication. A trained medical personnel, you have to be certified, trained, and qualified to be allowed to operate on a patient. Just like in the legal profession, once they identify somebody who is not a trained lawyer by this, they find a way of dealing with such person. But in the media, everybody is just a journalist. And that is where you find all the crises in the society. So there will need to be more and more regulation in that sector. And then, and even sanctioning by those politicians who don't recognize experience and then the time put in there, and they just put anybody that they feel is either their own or their cronies there to manage sensitive communication issues like journalism.
Okay, that's very insightful. You talked about politicians who don't even give regard to professionals again because they feel their boys can use their phone and actually do the job. So who are you, sir? Okay, we have some journalists in the house. We have Michael Olatun Olatun Boson. Sorry if I murdered your name, but please, you can speak to us, Michael. If you have any contribution, please, from Splash FM.
Yeah, good evening, and thank you very much for this platform. I must say that I've learned a lot from this conversation. I'm sorry I joined pretty late. I think I joined around 4:30 or thereabout. I was in an event. When I remembered, I quickly joined and left the place. I just arrived home. But all the while, while I was in transit, I was listening to the conversation. Well, I don't think I have much to add to the conversation. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can get you. Yes.
Yes, I don't think I have much to do. I'm a learner. I'm a perpetual learner. So I prefer to just, keep quiet and listen. When I joined, you were talking about agenda setting. I think there was a question that the resource person was attending to at that time,
Yes.
and the fairness and all that. Well, what I would just like to say is that sometimes, I'm sorry to make this statement, sometimes when I look at what's going on in the media space, I feel like I just dropping the microphone. I speak on radio, so I just feel like dropping the microphone and abandoning this profession for the people who have taken the space and are the ones dictating the agenda. For instance, in Ibadan, where I operate, you have media houses that are owned by people, supposed professionals, and then what you have is they are bringing what they learned on the street to the microphone. And so some of us who still hold on to the ethics of the profession, some of us who still hold on to, they call us the textbook people. We are the ones who now suffer to the extent that the ratings, and since the ratings became big deal, everybody now has to do what those people are doing because of the ratings. Because if you don't do that, you will suffer on the ratings. Because the ratings that bring the adverts. So essentially, that's what is going on. So, but it looks like I deviated. When you talk about being fearless, the question that you asked, you were saying that we should apply sense to fearlessness, even if you want to be fearless and all that. Nobody wants to be a hero in the grave, even though we want to stand out as journalists. All I just want to say is, just like you said, I think that we should begin to, like we ask that people should call the people in government to account. We should also know that our safety is very important. Many media houses will not come out and stand for you when the troubles come. So that's why we need to apply our sense in all that we are doing. It does not mean that we should abandon the work. Do the work to the best of your ability and knowledge, and just allow history to vindicate you.
Right.
But I also have a question. I want to ask this question before I drop the microphone. And this is the question. Now, the election that we are going to have in the coming months, if you listen to what people talk about this election, it looks like we have completely monetized the consciousness of the people. How do we as media people set the agenda for the people, the proper electoral agenda for the people to say, these are the proper questions to ask, when indeed the consciousness of money has taken over the space? That's my question. Thank you very much.
That's all right. Olatunji question. It's an interesting question, and the point there about this 2027 general elections, I think it is very, very important for whoever that is going to be involved in the coverage as a journalist to equip himself or herself with the knowledge of the Electoral Act 2026. That is the electoral, the law guiding that elections. Even INEC itself use it as a template for what they are doing, because you realize that some of this, our colleagues, the journalists, may not understand some of these rules, and you would go and embarrass yourself in the public, or even when you are putting an important point across, but you miss certain details about the facts. Politicians can easily rubbish you. But to answer your question directly, unfortunately, even your abilities are limited as a journalist and what you can do to effect change or have the right things done. But creating the right awareness is important. Someone asked the question about media ownership and what the media can do. Unfortunately, if you belong to a government-owned media that is too picky or is it nervous about the truth coming out, it will still affect your capacity to do the right things. And if you are involved with the private media, and if they have a political interest on some of this, whether they belong to the opposition, just like we see on some of these media channels at the national level, you could easily look at them and say, this one is tilted more to the opposition, and this one is tilted more to the ruling party, with very few of them maintaining the neutrality. So if you find yourself in that situation, you would know that, like I said, he who pays the piper, you will know how to construct your stories in order not to offend either sides. But the key thing is to have important information delivered to the citizens. Because still going back to that theory of the hypodermic syringe theory, we shouldn't assume that, excuse me, we shouldn't assume that if we package this information to the public, they are docile or they are dumb, they will just take it, they process it. And they're also part of the system. They understand the going-ons. They can tell your objectivity and they can understand your constraints based on whether you are a public media or a private one that is tilted on this side or the other. But it is important to have a good knowledge of the Electoral Act. And if you are going to engage any of the political actors seeking political position, you should also equip yourself with the knowledge of who that individual is in order to engage them. Because if you go half informed or you put out an information about any of these contestants that would put you in the position of defamation or lawsuit, then there's a problem there. So equipping yourself with the knowledge, understanding from which of the media you belong and where their interest lies and all that, but sufficiently give the people relevant information and let them be the judge and let them take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Michael, I hope your question is a bit answered.
Yes, thank you very much.
Answered,
Thank you,
sorry for saying a bit answered. Your question is answered. But Mike, how did you get the link? Did you get the email or what?
So I think I saw a mail.
Yeah, we sent
I
email
saw
to
a mail. I
everybody.
also
Saw
yes,
an
I
invite
also
again.
think I think I also saw it on Telegram or something.
Okay, that's the one you now join with now. Because I had to post on
Yes,
Telegram again on that IC platform because I want to be sure that everyone that registered through there got the email because I'm surprised that we
yes,
have this
I got
turnout.
yeah,
But
I
it's
got a
possible
mail.
today is Saturday and it's a very busy day, so it's possible a lot of people forgot that it's today, and
Yes.
it's possible most of them will be knowing about it maybe by 7 o'clock today. They'll say, hey, there's a program I'm supposed to attend.
Uh,
So I would like to know,
maybe.
if we can have our suggestion, if morning session will be better than evening. So the next one we're going to have, we can have it in the morning, but that should come up around August, hopefully. That's when we'll have the second one. All those that registered will send you email. You don't need to, you can re-register, but whether you re-register or not, we'll send you email again because we would like to know the new people that will register. But those of you that register, I think we'll send you for the second phase. So thank you very much. If there's any question, anyone that wants to ask question or contribution, so we can round up this session. We're supposed to have two guests, but our one guest has been able to hold it for us for 2 hours. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
So any question, contribution, so we can call it for the day. Then the next edition will come up August. We'll send you all of you email. Any contribution? Any suggestion? Mr. Tefa, anyone? I don't want to call names. Nobody wants to talk. Thank God you're okay. Umar, our namesake, thank you very much for joining. There is this person, Miri, thank you for joining. The attendance, I don't want to say is poor. This is like the first one we're having, so it's understandable. And due to the fact that it's on a Saturday, if morning session will be better, maybe we can take morning session like between 10 to 12 in the morning. Maybe that will help. So without much ado, I want to thank everyone for attending. We sent a mail. If you got that mail and you actually registered for certificate for participation, please, we have the names, but we just want to be sure that because there are some message we got and there was no name on it. So I want to be sure if you attended, please send the message to that WhatsApp number or the city reports that I attended. Though I have everybody attended here, but to confirm, please do send us if you paid for certificates of participation. So I guess my generator is giving me noise here. I hope it's not affecting you. Please,
No, it's not.
So pray. Please take charge of my solar. Please, sorry for the stuff. I'm using solar. My gen was giving me problems, so they are here to fix it. So for everybody, thank you for joining. We'll meet again August. Our guest, sir, is a veteran broadcaster. For those of you that don't know him, he was one of the first person to win. Is it 2 or 5 millionaire or who wants to be a millionaire? I'm just leaking your secret, sir.
It
For you
was
to
2 million
win who
actually.
wants to be a millionaire, you have to be very intelligent. So thank you
It
very
was 2 million.
It was
Yes.
2 million.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was one of the first persons to win a million or 2 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Then he's a lecturer, like I said. He has a lot of students. I'm one of his students. So I'm proud to be your student, sir. And thank you for holding on. If not that you are on, I don't know what would have happened to today's edition because our guest too, that was mostly the major person on the flyer before yours came out. Look at how things turned out to be. He's not able to join us, maybe due to bad weather or because he's on transit. But thank you everyone for joining. God bless you. And to our guests, do have a lovely day. My name is Pierre Frederick, the CEO of City Report. Though I don't like using that, but we are going to stream this on our Facebook page. We are on YouTube already. So those that did not join us can still view on our YouTube and our Facebook platform. Thank you very much. Please invite your friends. Look at the turnout we have for a mass com debate that is so interesting. Majority of those on this program are not even mass com people. What is happening? Like Michael said, the passion is going down and we need to encourage ourselves. So thank you very much, everyone. Do have a lovely day and bye from here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, that's a good one. Let me stop